All right, my friends, it is Monday, May the 5th. Let's go ahead and get into the market outlook and plans for the week ahead. Let's go ahead and start off with the macro. Right now, for me, is FOMO into the highs, right? Or FOMO into resistance, whatever you want to call it, right? When we originally set up this swing long from 75, the argument was that, yo guys, hit that like and subscribe button for me. Appreciate it. Trying to flesh out whether this is going to end up as a dead cat bounce, which leads to more chop throughout the rest of the year, or whether it was going to lead to the trend resuming. I always said that the dead cat bounce was the most likely, and the beauty of this is it doesn't really matter from a trader's point of view because it was still a good, $20,000 rotation that you could have traded on Bitcoin either way. The main takeaway from the macro conversation is that I still think that we're going to trade a lot higher later this year. Go over that in more detail later on, but I think that most likely what's about to happen is, we're in May right now. We're probably set to bleed a little bit as we progress through Q2. I really basically think that this is, the whole meme around proving time for bulls right now, right? Bulls have traded up higher than people expected and pushed back into this previous range. It has been a lot of strength, but, basically this void right here, if bulls can't hold that, can't defend that, then it looks like we're going to re-accept back into the range. So, basically the little doodles that I think you should be operating off of are, it seems like we're going to continue to sell off right now. And you're looking for this void to either hold and get defended for us to continue to mark up, or it's going to get lost. And if we don't, see defense at the beginning of this single, then that means that we're going to reaccept this range that we just tried to break out of. From there, I would expect that we'll probably be set to make a higher low, which will set us up to have a kind of a trend continuation start to pick up back in Q3, which obviously I would expect Q4 to be where the really ridiculous price action ends up coming in. So that's pretty much it, right? Going off the same kind of plan. Talk about some levels. So the main levels that I think, you want to focus on. So the kind of levels around price. First is going to be, I don't normally care about these kind of levels for macro, but right now this is going to be really important. So I'm going to call it like 93.5. I really want to see 93.5 start to get bid up. The kind of more round numbers are going to be 100K, 90K, 75K, right? Those are the main levels to pay attention to. I think that 90K is obviously one of the things that everybody's going to be paying attention to. It doesn't matter what style of trader you are. Everybody knows that, if we don't get to defense in this area, it means we're going to trade down a lot lower, right? Outside of these kind of more immediate zones, just to cover some of the higher time frame stuff, right? I do think that 60K is kind of your macro downside target, 120K is your macro upside target. If we see trend continuation, I don't think that we'll stop at 120. We'll probably make it to 150. That's pretty much it for the Bitcoin macro talk. Okay, medium time frame. The major emphasis on medium time frame, right? Is this area going to hold, or are we going to come back into this range, right? So when we're looking at this, I think that this probably illustrates the idea better anyway, so we'll just come back over to this. If we don't see defense, basically where we're at right now, or a little bit lower, right? It could go all the way down to like 90 and still be bullish. If we don't see defense like this doodle, then that means you're going to see reacceptance in this range. And basic auction market theory says that if we reaccept this range, it means that we'll at least attack the lows. We could still make a higher low, which is what I expect will probably happen. But it does mean that we will make an attempt at attacking the lows, right? And that is pretty substantial drawdown. So be mindful of what that means for the larger market, right? That's why this area is so important over the next couple of weeks. And realistically, we'll probably see a lot of the information we're looking for this week as to what's going to actually end up happening here. If this area doesn't get bid up, right, we're going to see this. This is not going to be the support you want to bid, right? It's either going to be above it or it's going to trade right through this and see us reaccept back in. And maybe we end up doing something. Ideally, it makes kind of the higher low for that continuation. But we'll have to play that by ear, right? Can't get too far out with the prediction shit on that. Nothing super crazy on medium time frame. A little bit of altcoin talk. So alts have been pretty interesting right now. So basically the TLDR of alts are, if Bitcoin proves itself in the next, couple of weeks, and actually we see defense in this like 90, 91K-ish most likely kind of zone, then that means that maybe I actually am going to rebalance my port and actually buy up spot on some meme coins and shit. So these are some of the things I'm interested in. I think, obviously Fartcoin looks incredibly good. Stupid combination of AI and memes, right? So this is probably a number one bidder for me from a spot allocation standpoint. Honestly, a lot of these look pretty decent. I think that maybe the RWA narrative comes back. I could see Hype doing really well, so most coins still look really, really bad. Most of them are just doing, pretty much bearish retests. You have a few coins, like Fartcoin that obviously has bullish structuring compared to the rest of the coins. So this will probably be one of the first ones that I do end up buying. The key here, though, is that I'm not trying to just like yeet into altcoins late. Into this Bitcoin rotation, because I do think that Bitcoin's probably going to be selling off. So what that means to me is that, I'm looking for that, that spot accumulation. I've been really, really patient. I abandoned my altcoin port a long time ago. So I've been really patient with it, trying not to, frankly, I probably should have already had, bought some shit, but I was playing it safe because of how the whole macroeconomic situation was playing out. But yeah, I am, as my confidence in my higher time frame plan, playing out shapes up, I'm more inclined to want to buy some of this stuff. So, sort relative strength with VWAPs and spaghetti, and then focus on newer things, right? If you're going to buy something that's older, it has to be things that, like I think Sui looks good right now, right? Anything that like actually looks good, that's older, maybe could be bid, right? But the overwhelming majority of older coins are going to look like absolute piss right now. So that's going to be it for altcoins. So that's pretty much it for me, guys. Good luck out there, and I'll chat with you soon. Cheers.